Hi, my name is Abbas. Welcome to a brand new episode of Page 10. We're recording on the 25th of April 2023, which is a Tuesday. With me in the studio is no one. Joining me remotely are two guests. We have our regular panelist. We have with us Meghnad joining us from Delhi. Hi, Meghnad.
Hello.
Hello, and we have a returning panelist, the second in our little cabal of panelists that we have gathered. Returning to the show is Anusha Ravi Sood. Hi, Anusha.
Hi Abbas, glad to return.
Anusha, our feedback is that you're everybody's favorite panelist, so we've brought you back. I said the same thing to Kaleem, by the way, just saying. So, like, I'm being
Thanks for
transparent, okay?
taking that away.
Unlike the PM Cares Fund, I'm being very transparent. So,
Ooh, nice, nice. Little Easter egg. Meghnad has already given up the story he'll be covering. But in case you're seeing Anusha for the first time on the show, I'll just quickly give a little bio of hers in case you didn't catch her the first time around. Anusha Ravi Sood is the political editor of the southfirst.com. She's based out of Bangalore and has worked with television, newspaper, and digital media, the whole gamut. She's worked with Times Now, the New Indian Express, and the print. So, Anusha, welcome once again to the show, to page 10.
Thank you so much. It's so good to be back.
All right. So, in case you're watching Page 10 for the first time, this is the current affairs show of the All About Now podcast feed and YouTube channel at IVM Podcasts. What happens is every week, myself and a few other panelists bring a piece of news to the table that preferably happened over the last week. And we have a healthy discussion about it and hopefully go back learning a little more than we knew when we started the episode. This is the All About Now podcast feed and YouTube channel. You can check out two other shows on this particular YouTube channel and podcast feed, which are ELI 10, which is Explain Like I'm 10, hosted by Meghnad, and How to Citizen, which is co-hosted by Meghnad and Shreyas. And Meghnad, would you like to tell us when we can expect new episodes of How to Citizen?
so new episodes are dropping first week of May. We are resuming our season,
Yep.
and Nidhi Razdan is the first episode. So she is going to talk about media. So
Right.
there's a chapter on media, guys, and that there used to be a chapter on advertising. They
Right.
deleted it in the rationalization. I was really hoping to get Nidhi to talk about that also. It didn't happen. But the fun
Right.
thing is, when we did that episode with her, Adani had
Right.
just taken over or announced
Ah,
NDTV's takeover.
right.
So just a teaser there.
Yeah. Uh, as I like to call it, the good old days,
The
which
good
was
old
like a
days,
few
yes.
months ago.
The good old days.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so let's start with you, Anusha. You're going to give us a little rundown of what you think the Karnataka elections will look like, which are just around the corner. So take it away and tell us what you have for us.
Thank you, Abbas. It's like I said, election time is my favorite time. Of course,
Right,
there's so much drama. There are so many people flying in and flying out of Karnataka. There are suddenly banners everywhere. So much attention given to places where no Neta walks anywhere in 5 years. It's only during election time that people get to see the people that they finally elected, and that is the time of the 5 years in Karnataka now, I suppose. And 10th May is polling day, and all the big wigs of all political parties have started setting their foot in Karnataka, and we have the ringside view of what is
mm-hmm.
happening in the state. 13th of May is counting day. All parties keeping their fingers crossed for that particular day. So as of yesterday, the entire nomination process, as of yesterday, as in Monday, the entire nomination process was completed, which leaves Karnataka, which has 224 assembly constituencies, with about 3,000 plus candidates. And the Bharatiya Janata Party, which is the incumbent ruling party in Karnataka, has fielded candidates in all 224 seats. The Congress in 223, because they've given one seat to another farmer party in Melukote. That is, a farmer leader, Sandarshan Puttanaya, has gotten the endorsement of the Congress in that one particular seat. The JDS, the regional party, the party that gave India HD Devegowda as its prime minister, has
Mm-hmm.
fielded about 207 candidates. But the JDS is also very intelligently backing a few CPIM candidates in a few constituencies. They have also, very surprisingly, the JDS has also backed a Congress candidate this election, and that is Darshan Dhruvanarayana. This is in an SC reserved constituency. Dhruvanarayana, a former Lok Sabha MP from the Congress, passed away even before the party could declare a ticket in his name, and now his son has been declared as the candidate by the party. Unfortunately, Darshan Dhruvanarayana also lost his mother within a span of few days. So the JDS thinks it, one, is humane and also a very politically savvy move to
Right.
not field a candidate against this Dalit
Hmm.
candidate of the Congress, which basically means it can also get a lot of sympathy and backing from
Yeah.
Dalit voters in neighboring constituencies, which is in Old Mysore region anyway, where the JDS already enjoys quite a bit of support. So, just to give you a glimpse of Karnataka, a lot has already been discussed about how the BJP is attempting to make inroads in regions where it does not have a great foothold, which is again the Old Mysuru region. Traditionally, Karnataka can be divided into Old Mysuru, then there is the Bangalore region, there is Kalyan Karnataka, there is Kittur Karnataka, and there is Central Karnataka. Kalyan Karnataka is what used to be known earlier as Hyderabad Karnataka, which we share a border with Telangana. And then there is Kittur Karnataka. Previously, it was known as Bombay Karnataka or Mumbai Karnataka, and we have this entire border row brewing with Maharashtra there. So the BJP, and then there is coastal Karnataka, of course. The BJP's you can call it home turf, you can call it bastion, you can call it laboratory of the BJP's multiple experiments. So these are largely the places. The BJP very, very confident of retaining the kind of support it enjoys in coastal Karnataka. It also is a very popular party in Kittur Karnataka, which is previously Mumbai Karnataka. They have the Maratha voters, they have the Lingayats voting for them, they have SC left that back the BJP there, directly in contest with the Congress, vying for the same set of votes in Kittur Karnataka. Then you take a look at Kalyana Karnataka, where the Congress has an upper hand, and a lot of the goodwill that the Congress is receiving this time
Which is
around
this
is
region?
this is Kalyana Karnataka, which was previously Hyderabad Karnataka. All your
Okay.
Gulbarga, Bidar, Yadgir,
Right. Yeah,
these
yeah.
districts come here. And this time around, the Congress, generally the Congress fares better in this particular region, also because of SC right communities that vote in favor of the Congress. But this time around, the Congress has a step up, thanks to the AICC chief, Mallikarjun Kharge, who hails
Yeah.
from this region.
Right.
And he
Gulbarga.
is a superstar. He is a superstar in this particular region, and the crowds go crazy when they look at him. And suddenly, his elevation as the AICC's president too has kind of helped the Congress make its pitch better. That the party is more inclusive. It has much more space for people from otherwise marginalized classes and communities.
Right.
And then comes Central Karnataka, where Congress and BJP, along with in some seats the JDS, are also in contest with each other. A lot of people presume that the JDS is only in the fight in old Mysuru region, which is not true. JDS actually has a lot of influence in Kalyana Karnataka as well. They have a lot of seats. Even now, the incumbent Bidar South seat is held by the JDS, which is otherwise presumed to be a very old Mysuru region party.
Right.
So this time around, a lot of pre-poll surveys suggest that the incumbent BJP is facing severe anti-incumbency. The corruption allegations against the party, its own MLA going to jail over corruption, officers being raided by multiple anti-corruption agencies, state, central, both, is really not helping the party kind of better its image of corruption. The only saving grace is some leaders coming out and saying, see, officials are raiding our own people, that means we are very good.
Right.
Yeah, I was also about to ask that. That's what I was about to ask also. कि उन्हीं के लोग तो रेड कर रहे, मतलब उनकी गवर्नमेंट है, उनके लोग रेड कर रहे, so it's great, right? Oh,
It is great for optics when you sell it like that. But if you actually go by the whisper campaigns that go around in Karnataka, this is my favorite conspiracy theory when it comes to why is the BJP going after its own people. So the theory is this, that in some cases, the BJP has been able to relieve its senior leadership or leadership that it thinks whose time has come, and that person should be let go and
Right.
give way for the next generation. In some
Mm-hmm.
places, they have been able to successfully replace those leaders with new candidates, but in places where they can't do that directly, they have to kind of create an impression that this person has become a liability.
Correct.
And hence,
Yeah.
the party is not at fault in
Mm-hmm.
wanting to replace this person. I mean, very recently, earlier last week, there were election commission officials raiding the factory of an incumbent minister, Murugesh Nirani, who is the industries minister, and they found what silver articles, lamps or something that were supposed to be given as vote as bribe for voters. So yeah, I mean that's also a whisper campaign that's going around that whoever the party cannot eliminate directly, the
Right.
party would rather
Use
create an
other
impression
means.
that they're a
Right.
liability for other.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just saying it's a conspiracy theory. I'm not saying this is true. I'm
Of course.
reiterating this.
Yeah.
But this is this, this is what I like about elections. There are so many conspiracy theories you can choose from.
Agreed,
Um,
agreed. I'm on board. I'm on board this train.
So, and then there is
so
the Congress. Always the opposition party has had the advantage in Karnataka of
yeah.
milking this anti-incumbency sentiment. Karnataka has
Mhm.
always been this state that we follow a revolving door concept. We
Correct.
vote in one
Yes.
party and one time, another party another time.
Mm-hmm.
So which has been the trend in Karnataka, if you ask. Unfortunately for the BJP, the party has never won an absolute majority in the state
Mm-hmm.
ever. The BJP has been in power. BJP has had chief ministers for three times now, but not once has the party ever come to power on its own.
Right.
So that is the scenario for the BJP twice. The third time I'm just counting BS Yeddyurappa's short stint as chief minister
Correct.
before
Yeah.
the
Yeah. Yeah.
JDS and Congress coalition
Took
took
over.
over in
Yes.
2018. But yeah,
All
if
right.
you put all of these together, the BJP has had 3 terms in power, let's say, and
Okay.
never has it been on
I have a
majority.
question. So, you also mentioned that the BJP seems to be on a bit of a back foot this time around. And my sort of leverage of that is always whenever you see TV news, they always project as if, wherever the elections are happening, the BJPs are the favorites. But this time around, even the more favorable TV shows, TV channels always put that little thing out there that this may not be the best performance of the BJP. So you mentioned the corruption is one big reason for that. Apart from that, what are the major issues that the election is being fought on this time round? And if the Congress are looking at forming a government, is there a CM face that they have that they are projecting forth?
Also, when you
The
talk about
Congress
the corruption, please also mention that whole contractor bribe thing that happened. If you can just reiterate for our listeners, that would be great.
Absolutely. Well, let's start with the question on corruption allegations.
Mhm.
It all started when a set of contractors, government contractors in Karnataka. Let's remember, government contractors never have any beef with any party in power because it's their bread and butter. They need
Correct.
to
Of
have
course.
great relationship with the ruling party. However, last year, the Government Contractors Association wrote a letter to the Prime Minister saying that the Karnataka government in power, the BJP government in Karnataka, was demanding up to 40% commission in every tender that is given out to them for public works. Now, there was no reaction that came from the Prime Minister's office. The contractors wrote another letter and then they came to the media and insisting that corruption, especially in this particular government, they also acknowledged that it's not like under the Congress regime there was no corruption. They are very
Yeah.
categorical about it. There was corruption then also, but the words that they used is corruption not of this level, not of this extent. And that is the kind of allegations they leveled against the BJP government. Let's remember the first time they wrote this letter, they were referring to the period when BS Yeddyurappa was the chief minister, not Basavaraj Bommai. However, their accusations continued even during the Basavaraj Bommai government's regime, even under Basavaraj Bommai. The allegations took a very, very serious note when one government contractor, Santosh Patil, killed himself. He died by suicide. And in his suicide note, he categorically held the then Minister for RDPR, Rural Development and Panchayat Raj, KS Yeddyurappa, responsible. And he said that KS Yeddyurappa's department had given him works to be carried out and he had taken loans of crores of rupees. There was no way for him to return those unless that department cleared bills, and the department was refusing to clear bills unless the minister was paid up to 40% commission. Now that it became an extremely serious issue in Karnataka. And one by one, private schools associations came up with similar allegations. There were other contractors who came up with similar allegations. Earlier this year, BJP's own sitting MLA, who has not been given a ticket this time, who's been dropped from the BJP's ticket list, Gulihatti Shekhar, alleged that in the tender process of a multi-crore irrigation project, there were irregularities. And he also made, so you see, this corruption allegation did not start from the opposition. It started from a third party, from the
Right.
Contractors Association.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
opposition picked up on it. Then the media reported on it multiple times, and like one skeleton after another kept tumbling out of this closet. The BJP's defense has been that there is no proof. All of these are mere allegations. There is nothing to nail the party. All of this was the BJP's narrative till the Lokayukta arrested Madal Virupakshappa, who was the sitting MLA, whose son was caught accepting bribes in the MLA's office. And the MLA first tried to run away. He was not to be found. And then he was arrested. He was put in jail. And now this time the party, of course, has refused a ticket to Madal Virupakshappa. But his son is contesting as an independent candidate. And the BJP is worried now that in that particular constituency, Chanagiri, the party might lose out quite a bit of votes because he's very popular. He was arrested and put in jail for corruption. But when he came back, it was celebration. People were bursting crackers and, giving him garlands and flowers. We are very
usual.
nice people. We
Yes.
celebrate people who come back from, like, they're freedom fighters or something.
Right.
So
And what are the
that's about
and what are the other issues that you see are very important in the state?
that is corruption. So something that that doesn't make it to the news cycle every day, but is a very we have reporters on ground, and I've been interacting with a lot of people who are on ground. Something that doesn't make it to the news studios or doesn't make it to mainstream media, but has led to a grouse within people is maladministration. Absolute lack of administration in the
Okay.
Yes. Why they also have a problem with why people have a problem with it is because there is no stable government. See, after 2018, we had Yeddyurappa for a couple
Yeah.
of days. Then came the
Yes.
coalition government, and then Yeddyurappa came back as chief minister because MLAs from here were going to another party, from another party coming to the BJP. This whole shenanigans. Then Yeddyurappa was the chief minister, and then after 2 years in office, the BJP suddenly decided that they do not want Yeddyurappa in this office anymore, and they replaced him with Bommai. This is exactly what happened the last time BJP was in power in Karnataka as well. We had 3 chief ministers. Within one term, we had Yeddyurappa, then we had Sadanand Gowda, we had Jagdish Shettar. So every time that happens, bureaucracy takes a hit. There are issues with people signing projects. For example, I remember this one minister from Karnataka who had a huge grouse with Basavaraj Bommai, and he said, "Madam, I have a list in my pocket." He showed me the list. There were some 8-9 things, and I asked him, "What are these 8-9 things?" He said, "These are all the number of files pending with the chief minister. He refuses to sign. He refuses to take the pen out of his pocket and sign because the chief minister is not sure. He doesn't want to sign anything. He doesn't want to approve anything." So that kind of leads to a handicap of administration, which actually
it's
impacts
interesting.
people.
Anusha, sorry, just interrupting. This is very interesting because this happened in Uttarakhand also, right? Which is like they constantly kept changing their chief minister. Actually, it worked in the favor of BJP there because it's like, oh, ye chief minister ne kaam nahi kiya, to kya hua? Replace kar denge. So whenever before elections or before any major like shuffle, whatever, they would just replace because blame करना है तो हाँ तो उसको निकाल तो दिया ना, तो फिर ये नया आया ना, तो फिर and it was all new faces all the time, right? So in Karnataka also this has been happening, but this doesn't work there, it seems.
It doesn't work because the person they replaced is BS Yeddyurappa, and they replaced him right after COVID-19.
Of course.
We must tell you
That's why.
it was a very difficult period, and thankfully he was a better administrator than most people the BJP in Karnataka can claim credit for. So he helped quite a bit as chief minister in
Is
ensuring the
Yediyurappa
state.
in the game anymore, or is he a spent force? Because I remember the last time he gave the resignation, there was a whole tearful goodbye, which a lot of journalists were saying that this is it, this is his
This
final
is the
innings.
end. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the end for him.
A lot of people would wish that is the end for BS Yeddyurappa. Why I say that he's not a spent force is because that's what
Yeah,
the BJP thought when they replaced
right.
him in
Yeah.
2021. They thought that BS Yeddyurappa is a spent force and nobody really cares if you move him, like in Uttarakhand, if you change the chief
Hmm.
minister, nobody will care.
Mhm.
Oh, that man.
Correct.
We should remember in Karnataka, the BJP is because of Yeddyurappa, Anant Kumar, the likes
Hmm.
of
Right.
leaders like that.
Hmm.
It
Hmm.
is
Hmm.
not.
Hmm.
It is not because
The
of the
other way
BJP
around.
there is a Yeddyurappa.
Hmm.
There's a lot of difference. It is because of leaders like BS Yeddyurappa there is a BJP in Karnataka, and without doubt, he continues to be one of the only two mass leaders in the state who can claim the status of a mass leader in
Hmm.
Karnataka. He is a mass leader not just of the Lingayats, but he's accepted overall by people from different communities. The only other person who can probably claim second place in that position is Sidramaya of the Congress.
Right.
No other
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
party.
Hmm.
And the BJP was wrong in replacing
Hmm.
him. And I am not saying this.
Hmm.
That is how it looks when the BJP that removed BS Yeddyurappa
Hmm.
was
Hmm.
forced to bring him back as the face of their campaign in elections this year, back
Hmm.
in January or February this year. Until January, February this year, from the time he resigned till January, February this year, you didn't hear of Yeddyurappa at all. Did you hear any
Right.
BJP
Hmm.
leader talk
No,
about Yeddyurappa? No,
absolutely.
because
No,
they thought
no.
they'll win this election without him. It's only
Hmm.
when reality hit them in the face they realize that BS Yeddyurappa is still has a lot of currency in Karnataka when it
Hmm.
comes to elections, and he
Okay.
has used that also. I mean, he's not under any delusion that he will be indispensable forever for the BJP. He also
Right.
understands that this is only till 2024,
Right.
But
and but he's used
Anusha,
his
what
card
was?
too to get.
Yeah, but just interrupting because what was the reason why he was removed in the first place? Like, I mean, sure, miscalculation on the part of BJP, but what was the calculation there? What were they doing?
I will start with what the BJP hoped people will buy.
Hmm.
That they have an unwritten rule of 75 years of age after which
Ah,
they
of course. Hmm.
encourage
Right.
their leaders to walk willfully
Hang
into
up.
the market
Hmm.
bundle, and
Hmm.
that was not true for Yeddyurappa. Yeddyurappa was 78; he was still the chief minister. That is what the BJP would have you believe
Hmm.
that they wanted to remove B.S. Yeddyurappa or replace B.S. Yeddyurappa because they have an unwritten rule. They're not going to bend the rules for anybody else. But the BJP had already bent rules when they welcomed Yeddyurappa back into the party after he broke away
Hmm.
from it. So that is
Hmm.
not true. But the reality, as I understand, because I reported on it, and I can also take credit that 2 months before he resigned, I'd written about how there is a plan in place for him to make way for others. So I was with the New Indian Express then. My editors were not very fond of the story, but nonetheless, 2 months later, I could say hurrah. But all right. So the reality of it was simply this: the BJP wanted new leadership. They did not want to go into this election dependent on one man because all
Hmm.
elections that the BJP has
Oh.
gone to in Karnataka, BS Yeddyurappa has been the face of the party. The
Hmm.
BJP has a severe problem when everything becomes about one man, except when it is Prime Minister Narendra Modi,
Yeah.
and they did not want BS Yeddyurappa this election to be a person-centric election. And a lot of
Right.
leaders of the BJP have said it to me in as many words. They do not want it to be a person-centric election. They want it to be people should vote for the party,
Hmm.
not for a person. That was the
Lol.
whole idea. And they thought giving somebody new at least a
Yeah.
year in office will help
Yeah.
the party establish the symbol than the
Yeah.
person. So it was
Right.
all about bringing in new leadership, and they tried a lot of things. They tried to find alternatives to Yeddyurappa by making smaller people from the same community deputy
Hmm.
chief ministers.
Hmm.
Mr.
Hmm.
B.L. Santosh, the organizing general secretary of the BJP,
Hmm.
thought he's always had a very difficult relationship with B.S. Yeddyurappa. That's the
Hmm.
truth. He's
Hmm.
always because even before he became the national general secretary organization, he was Karnataka's general secretary
Hmm. Hmm.
Right.
organization here in the state. So he's
Hmm.
always
Hmm.
had a very difficult relationship with B.S. Yeddyurappa, and
Hmm.
his attempt has always been to show the cadres, the leaders, and voters that the BJP is beyond the Yeddyurappa in Karnataka. And had he just allowed Mr. BS Yeddyurappa to run his course, maybe it would have been an easier place for the party to
Right.
start than to
You know,
write him off way earlier.
this is really funny, and I always say this. So in the north, I mean, at least in other states wherever we have, it's like, of course, it's not like BJP is dependent on Modi, but Modi is sorry, the other way around. BJP is dependent on Modi. Modi is not dependent on BJP, right?
Mhm.
BJP is because of Modi, right?
Mm, mm,
In case of Karnataka, I've always seen, and what you just said, I've read like a bunch of things and spoken to people, that BJP exists because of BJP, BS
Yeddyurappa.
Yeddyurappa,
Mm,
right?
mm.
Yes,
So
yes.
यहाँ पे it's the same regional logic that is going on in the national scene, right? But then that also like makes I think the prime minister and other people uncomfortable, because obviously can't be bigger than him. So it's weird. Like when you said na ki, oh, we can't have a one person centric party. It's like, what are you talking about? What are you even talking
Except,
And
about? Like, it's
I
like,
also said except.
except exactly. Like, what?
also, so
And
I
there's
mean, we
one more
saw.
thing about
Yeah, go ahead.
no, I just there was one more thing about Karnataka also. Why BS Yeddyurappa is because he belongs to this very, very socially and economically dominant community called the Lingayat community, which
Yes.
there is also Vokaligas, which is another dominant community. But unlike in other states where these communities vote for the BJP en masse over ideology, the Lingayat community doesn't vote for the BJP for ideology. They vote for the BJP
Mm,
as a political alternative. It's
right.
not that they are fans of the BJP's ideology.
Mm,
The
mm,
ideological voter in Karnataka only exists in coastal Karnataka and now is spreading a little bit through hilly region, what we call the Malnar region, which is closer to the coast in central Karnataka, that particular region. This ideological voter is a
mm,
very small, regionally restricted voter for the BJP in
right.
Karnataka, unlike a UP, I
Mm,
must say.
right. I was going to ask. We saw in Bengal, the prime minister went ahead and did a lot of rallies. Is Mr. Modi addressing rallies in Karnataka? Is that expected to make any huge changes in the mood
I
of the
should
people?
be very honest with you when I say I'm very surprised that his rallies haven't begun yet. It is the
Mm,
25th
Yeah.
and
yeah.
voting is on
Hmm.
10th of May, which
Mm,
is very, very surprising. And even more surprising because the Prime Minister is in Kerala today and he was in Kerala yesterday.
right.
And whenever
Mm,
he
Hmm.
is in a
I
neighboring
yeah.
state, he always makes like a pit stop at an election
Correct.
unit,
Yeah,
but not in
yeah.
Karnataka. But I'm told he is
And
starting his
Amit Shah
rallies
was
in
in
Karnataka.
Telangana. Amit Shah was in
But Amit Shah
Telangana
also had
also.
a rally in Karnataka. He had a
In
rally in
Karnataka. Okay.
Karnataka yesterday.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
just yesterday they've begun
Mm,
their big gun rallies. Have begun barely midweek since last
Hmm.
week.
right.
It is very surprising that the Prime Minister has let go of so many days of what could have been campaigning.
Right.
He's slated to begin only from the 28th or the 30th. His
Mm,
schedules are still being sorted out by the
right.
BJP, and
Mm,
which will allow the Prime Minister to address maybe two on a
right.
bad day and three rallies on a good day
Mm,
for about 4 or 5 days in Karnataka, not
mm,
more than
mm,
that.
mm, mm,
So I think the focus is largely going to be in regions where the party is hopeful of Mr. Modi and his image
yeah.
having the ability to sway voters. There is
Right.
no taking away from the fact that he is a charismatic figure. And
Yeah.
people do
Hmm.
come out to see Mr. Modi. Even in
Mm,
Karnataka, there are people who admire the Prime Minister. They would like to come to his rallies to see him. There is also possible, the BJP also estimates that Mr. Modi can swing up to 3 to 4% of votes in the party's favor. This is BJP's own estimate. This is
yeah.
not
Yeah. Yeah.
me. This is the BJP's estimate. So, over and above what the party can bring to the table, Mr. Modi can
Mm,
probably swing 3 or 4% of voters, is their estimate.
right. Okay.
But
Just
will that be
last
the
question.
reality this time around? Is a question.
Right. Last question, Anusha. You mentioned Siddaramaiah. So, is he being projected as the CM face for the Congress, or any other names that are floating out there? And
The
also,
Congress has never.
are five-star hotels being booked right now, considering we get another situation of a hung assembly?
So when I think this time around, if there is a hung assembly, 5-star hotels or resorts will be booked only in Assam because Mr. Sarma is the new, caretaker and the herder of the BJP, like what
Yes,
Right.
Mr. DK
yes.
Kumar was for the Congress during the Gujarat Rajya Sabha elections, because that's what got
Right.
him into trouble. The first time he tried to play host to all these legislators from Gujarat is what got him to trouble and got the first IT raid against DK
Yeah,
Shivkumar.
yeah.
Anyway. And as far as the chief minister face for the Congress goes, the reality is this: the Congress has never projected a CM face in Karnataka. In fact, the BJP has. Every election except this election, the BJP has projected BS Yeddyurappa as the CM candidate, except 2013 when he was not in the party. But the Congress has never done that. To give Congress a little bit of a credit, they've never projected the face. But is Siddaramaiah a popular chief minister face? Absolutely yes. In fact, he has the most approval ratings when it comes to choice of chief minister. At South First, we've done one tracker poll, we've done one pre-poll survey, and in both these surveys, he comes up as a rock star when you ask somebody a question of who do you want as your chief minister. But there's also a factor to it, because he is the only chief minister Karnataka has had in about 30 years who completed a full 5 term in office. He's
Right.
very well known to be a good administrator. I know Meghnad is laughing, but S.M. Krishna had no problems in his terms, but unfortunately it ended before he completed 5 years. But
I say nothing. I say nothing. He's about to win. I say nothing.
because so people have seen him as chief minister,
Right.
when it is a DK Shivkumar, who's the Congress president here in Karnataka, who aspires to be chief minister. Nobody knows how he would fare as a chief minister. I think it's just got more to do with the familiarity concept. You know
Yeah.
how Yeddyurappa works, you know how
Yes.
Siddaramaiah works, you don't know how DK Shivkumar would do in that chair. He's been a minister before. Of course, in the Congress, there are many people who want to be chief ministers. There is Dr.
Right.
Parmeshwar, who's a former deputy chief minister. He's a Dalit, and he could very well, if he becomes chief minister, could be the first Dalit chief minister of the state. Why not? If the Congress can have a Dalit AICC president, then why not? Then there is MB Patil, who's the only popular Lingayat face, the most vocal Lingayat face in the Congress. He also nurses aspirations of becoming chief minister, but the Congress has been smart throughout not to take that bait. Many people have asked the same question. In fact, I can recall one interview that misquoted Siddaramaiah also on this question of chief minister.